Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Faye. I'm a geomancer, which is somebody who works with earth energy. And this channel looks at all things connected to how humans and the earth are intricately entwined and what that relationship really means for us individually and collectively, our ability to thrive, our ability to create healthy societies, healthy food, by looking at the ancient technology that the megalithic builders used to use. So today we're going to be diving into quantum biology, really the quantum biology of your body and how that is intricately tied to Earth's natural systems. We're going to explore how light, sound, water, and your thoughts through electric, magnetic, scalar, and quantum fields really shape every system of your body. And this is what I love about this kind of work, because if you wanted to achieve altered states of consciousness, for instance, if we tried to do this on Mars or the moon or another planet, we wouldn't be able to do it because our body needs very much the Earth's electromagnetic fields. It needs things, we are a creature of the Earth. Our potential is very much locked into being on the Earth. And I think this is absolutely fascinating. So today, let's start with quantum biology. Now, the science shows it really shows us how our body, how our energy fields interact with the universe on the smallest scales. So your human energy field is a dynamic matrix of electric fields. So those are the bioelectrical signals in our nervous system. We have magnetic fields, which are generated by the heart and the brain. We have scalar fields, which are non-linear energy waves. And then we have quantum fields. This is the subatomic dance of particles in our body. And these fields aren't, they're not sci-fi buzzwords. They're not like on-the-moment health information. Science is now, uncovering these things. But I think these were things that we implicitly know. And I would suggest that ancient people definitely understood these things because of how our bodies, our energy fields interact with the earth at sacred sites. As someone who can see auras, way we interact with energy at these sites and the energy that is at these sites, is very special. That's why they're sacred. But we interact with the earth anyway. It's just on a slightly different level. So these fields and forces, really, they regulate every system of your body, from your heart's rhythms to your immune system, to your mental clarity, to the level of consciousness you can achieve. And this is where it gets really fascinating, I think, is that your energy field really thrives on four key elements. And that is light, sound, water, and the frequencies of thoughts. So let's break this down. Light. Sunlight. I sat outside today because it was so hot, too hot to record in my office. Sunlight isn't just vitamin D. Photons interact with our cells' mitochondria, and that powers energy production. And studies have shown that the near-infrared light actually boosts cellular repair. It enhances everything from skin health to brain function. And we're not going to touch on this today, but I think this is really interesting that plasma phenomena, which operates often in the infrared scale, is very prevalent at sacred sites. So it's like it's an extra boost. There's something special that goes on there. So it's interesting that we so often, are familiar with things we can see, feel, hear, touch, smell. But, our sensory bandwidth for those things are quite limited. There is a hell of a lot that goes on around those that I think geomancy takes account of, as I say, through sacred space structure, and how that sacred space structure actually influences a large zone of the landscape around it. So that's light anyway. And then there's sound. So vibrations, for instance, like those of a tuning fork or your own voice, they influence your nervous system. So research in bioacoustics reveals that specific frequencies can reduce stress hormones, calming your fight and flight response. We know that sound healing is incredibly effective. We know that sound can remove tumors. Sound frequency, all things are frequency. Light is a frequency, sound is a frequency. The vibration, this, thing this ether that holds the whole universe together, we are intimately connected. We are part of it. So there's sound, there's light, and then there's water. Now, your body is 70% water, and its structure matters. The quality of the water we get really, really matters. Structured water, which is what's called easy water, which is an exclusion zone and that excludes things. That conducts really the bioelectrical signals more efficiently in your body through what is essentially a cell is intergalactic space to the vitamins and minerals that are trying to get around your body. And water, when it's in a structured form, conducts the bioelectrical signals much more efficiently so that your body knows what it wants where and can move everything around. So that supports our digestion, our circulation, all sorts of things, even our DNA repair. And then finally, of course, there's the thing that we have more autonomy over, and that is the frequencies of our own thoughts. So your thoughts emit electromagnetic waves of energy. Positive thoughts like gratitude have been shown to lower cortisol and really increase the coherence of your heart's magnetic field. So that's your electromagnetic fields working in harmony. And when we do that, we boost our immunity, but we also boost our focus, our mental clarity. And when we can enhance those electromagnetic waves at places like sacred sites, which when the earth gives rise to heightened electromagnetic frequencies, that stimulates the pineal gland to produce the neurochemistry that enables us to have higher levels of consciousness, out-of-body experiences, expanded awareness, psychic experiences. They are that neurochemistry production is actually stimulated by the electromagnetic fields of the earth, enhancing our electromagnetic waves. So these elements don't just keep us alive, sound, water, light, and our own thoughts. They are the building blocks for quantum consciousness. So that's a state of heightened awareness where you're in sync with the universe's flow. And I think we all know what it feels like to not be in sync with the universe's flow when careers aren't going well, our health is suffering, our relationships aren't suffering. We can feel like all the wheels are falling off the wagon, one at a time, or sometimes all at once. But this is the thing. We are our ultimate health and well-being on all levels is intimately tied with the earth, because we can only feel ultimately well on the earth because we're one of its creatures. We need the earth's magnetic field. We need the Schumann resonance, and we need abundant clear water to create an environment that calibrates our energy field. This is why we feel so well when we're next to the coast or walking near large bodies of water. It's why we feel wonderful when we watch the sunrise or the sunset over a mountain. It's why going out in nature is so important. We can feel brilliant. We wouldn't feel the same doing those things on Mars. Let's say there was enough oxygen on Mars. We still don't have the greenery, the water. We don't have all the things to make us feel great because we are a creature of the earth. And this is why we need to look after it. And this is why we need to really dig deep on our physical relationship with it, but our mental relationship with it, and also our spiritual relationship with it. Because we are, unique, let's say unique creatures in the universe. I'm sure there's other life out there, but we are quite unique over the life that we know. And we come here not just to be alive, we come here with all these sort of lessons to learn, which is all about our life. We have to keep repeating lessons. And we have this marvelous earth to do that on. And that physical earth itself, is tied to our success. We and it are in this feedback loop. I'm a healthy, thriving person. I can contribute well to the earth. The earth is lovely and healthy. It can contribute to me. But if I go into a decline of chaos and hatred, then I will negatively impact the earth, and that will show up not just in my own life, but if we all go into that, that shows up collectively. So we're at this sort of crux point at the moment. Humanity is walking this fine line between order and chaos. And I think it behoves as many of us as possible to find that line that we can walk to manage the internal order and chaos within ourselves so that we can be of service and contribute well to the world. So we need, we couldn't do that on any other planet but the earth. because we're tied to it in this level. It's what enables us as some kind of soul. Without, our soul essence is vast and multidimensional, and it expands into the whole universe. We've chosen to have an incarnate experience on this wonderful planet, and this wonderful planet enables us to tune into that divine element. If we weren't on this planet, we would have to have a different mechanism to access it. So how do we work with it? So we can harness Earth's energy really to amplify our health and quantum consciousness. And this is where I think geomancy, the ancient art of working really with an organic technology of stone, soil, light, water, it's ancient, but it's really at the cutting edge of what we now understand, the technology of quantum health. And it's a technology, it's an ancient technology, an organic ancient technology that uses natural substances like light, water, stone, soil, sound, to really align our energy field with the spirit of the earth, where, the spirit of the earth, also the landscape where we live, the area where we live, the nation where we live, the planet, whatever scale you wish to work on. And geomancy also enhances the earth's energy itself. So animals thrive, plants thrive, they grow better, they crop better, animals are healthy, higher birth rates. So we're a mammal, it affects just the same, but it also affects any crops that we grow, any animals that we are, farming. So it's a way of enhancing all life so that everything is operating at its sort of highest capacity to support everything. So, so often people think about geomancy, sort of almost, rearranging furniture. I'm not saying feng shui just does that. Don't get me wrong. The deepest feng shui is very deep personal work, very much like Western geomancy. But, it's much more than, putting a red cushion on your sofa and, putting a mirror at the end of your hall. It's really about, at its deepest level, geomancy at its heart is about tapping into Earth's natural frequencies to create a sanctuary, whether that be our home, our small holding, our farm, our community, that emotionally supports us physically, that supports us emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And we work on the patch that we can. Now, originally, communities came together, obviously, and built sacred sites, and they were all invested in it. And that sacred site would change the nature of the earth energy for as much area as they needed it to change, where the amount of land that they needed to support the number of people in that community. So you've got X number of people, you need X amount of crops, X number of animals. So your sacred site really needs to do that bit. And if the more communities that do that, the more these sites link up and whole huge areas are covered. Nowadays, we can't do that. We don't have communities that build megalithic sites, but we do have our own home. And much as geomancy works with the spirit of place, so we work with the spirit of a landscape, the spirit of a mountain, the spirit of a valley, the spirit of a whole area, we can break that level of spirit down to look at really on a scale. Imagine, nested energy colleges like Russian dolls, one inside another. Let's say the spirit of the landscape is the outer Russian doll. Your home is one of the inner ones. It's part of the spirit of place, but we're looking at a specific level. So your home has a spirit. This is a unique energetic signature, really shaped by its location, its geology, and your presence. And that energetic pattern, that signature, is held by a conscious spirit that we can work with. So that spirit can help us align our energy with what that ground has to offer. And that ground can help us in so many ways in our own life's path, not just by nurturing us physically with food, but our homes have a unique ability they're a mirror, they're an oracle for our own personal life's path while we live there. So let's look at, how we can simply use these things. Light boosts our well-being. So, we do need to get out in the light. We need to make sure that our windows, I know it sounds mundane, but, let the light into your home. Go out in the sunlight, go out in the morning and greet the sun in your garden. Make sure you get out in nature and let the biophotons enter your eyes, let them into your body. There is light all around our body. Our cells produce light. We need to be, conscious that light is something that we need in our lives. Don't always go out, and shade yourself from the sun. Let the light come in. And then there's sound within our homes or within our lives. We can use singing bowls, we can use chimes, we can listen to music, we can use our voice to create vibrations within our home. But it's not just within our home. We want music and sound and frequencies, chanting. It's great to go to a drumming event, or it's great to, hear church bells ring. That resonance of church bells affects the earth energy, for a long distance. It's a great shame that we're not ringing them as much as we used to. And then there's water. We can use water very effectively. We want to, drink structured water. We can do that by vorticing it. You can get little gadgets that vortice your water, or you can just stir it really fast with like a wooden chopstick, not metal, till you get a vortice in your cup. That structures the water. Leave the water out in the sunlight. That structures the water. Drink that water. Put intentions into that water. Ask for that water to conjure up the energy structures of things that you need that you may not be aware of, because water's come into contact with everything all through time. It's like a massive information bank that we can draw on. And then finally, of course, there's our own thoughts. We need to set our intentions for our spaces in our lives. So at home, for instance, we can say, this is my sanctuary for growth. This is where I'm going to learn the lesson, step up to the lessons and challenges that my life's path is putting in front of me, so that I can become the person I need to become to do the things I incarnated to do. How did I come to be of service? What did I come to give to the world? Our home is a very private space. It's a very personal space where we can go deep into those questions with its spirit, so it can help you unlock all those stumbling blocks. And those, I'm not talking about surface level vibes. I'm talking about really deep stuff. What is it that's stopping you from achieving your dreams? What lessons were learnt in childhood? What things you're carrying down your ancestral line? What things maybe past life? They're often very similar lessons. It's often the lesson that's presenting itself is the same lesson we'll pick up on this life, in our ancestors, and any past lives, because that's the lesson that's in front of us now. And then once we go on that one, another lesson will come up. But deal with that one. And you can look at it, it will be present in your life now. There is no life, there is no real wound that we've had in an ancestral life or a past life of our own that, if we haven't dealt with it, it's present in this life now. But we don't need to go back, because the lesson is still here. We're holding it now. It's in our life. We can use these elements of light, sound, water, and our thought frequencies and our intentions to find out what these stumbling blocks are in our own energy fields, so that we can actually show up in the way that we know that we're capable of, but for some reason we can't quite do it. Because if we absorb the light, if we use sound to clear our energy field, if we have structured water, we elevate our quantum consciousness, we elevate our body, and therefore we can take on these challenges and lessons because we feel good, we're thinking clearer, we're braver, we're more forthright, we're not afraid to hear the things that perhaps we don't want to hear. So, we can set those intentions for our spaces, because those thought levels about, let's say, this home is a sanctuary for my growth, those thought forms emit this electromagnetic wave. It goes out, it's your home. The spirit of your home picks up on that wave, because it doesn't speak English, it doesn't speak whatever language you're speaking. It feels that frequency, and that's how it picks up on your intentions. So that way, that creates a feedback loop then for your mood and your health, because you say to the spirit of your house, I want this home to be my sanctuary for growth. And the spirit of your home goes, great, this is going to be their sanctuary for growth. And that will move you further along, because it will present to you things that you need to grow through. Now, some of those will be difficult, some of them will be easy, because growth is never easy, because all growth meets resistance. The inside of a seed, the growth has to push its way out. A seed under the soil, the shoots have to push their way through the soil. They're up in the soil, they have to resist predators and wind and sun. No growth is without struggle, but when you create a home that's in harmony, a body that's in the quantum fields, sort of more quantum biological health supports you. That means your physical, mental, and emotional bodies are all singing to the same hymn sheet. So you can deal with these things a lot better. So, we can align our home to we can align our home spirit to our energy field. And that way, geomancy really becomes a technology, in essence, to support every system in our body, because we're working with the conscious element of the bit of space of the earth that we can call our own. You know, I can't go into somebody else's house, and communal space is full of everybody. My home is a space where I can get really intimate with the consciousness of the earth. Even sacred spaces are shared. They're well used. People go there, they leave all sorts of memory and things and intentions. There's a lot of clashing stuff going on in a sacred space when we're all going there at different times. There's no sort of set ceremony. There's no sort of set sacred purpose. Often these sites aren't cleared energetically. It's just loads of people coming in one after another. But the energy in your space, your home, is something you have quite a lot of sovereignty over. You know, in geomancy, we teach people to clear any residual energy memory. We look at clearing sort of the energy blueprint, how much sort of yang action taking energies in the home, how much yin receptive energy is. They're in the water and they're in the energy lines, but they're also a mirror of your energy. Yeah, they're drawing attention to where you're strong in what field and where you're weak in what field. And you also can get rid of place memory. So really you can create a little space, an energetic structure around your home, that space belongs only to you and your family. And therefore it's a great way of you can use that space to tune in really to, you know, to the divine, to get messages that are really only for you. The problem with when you're in a sacred space, and you can sometimes open you up to channeling, yeah, you know, or to receive information. I sometimes wonder whether that information is meant for the person who actually receives it, because there's so many bandwidths going along. We're trying to tune into a radio signal that's just meant for us. It can be very difficult in crowded spaces. And this is why our home is so special, particularly in a very fast, ever-changing world full of lots of people doing lots of different spiritual disciplines. So it can be something there you can do in yourself. So let's bring this to life really with a little practice that you can follow along now to align your energy field with your home's spirit. So I want you to find a comfortable spot, sitting or standing. As you can see, I'm sitting in the garden today because it was so hot and I just needed to be out checking the caterpillars on my willow herb in the back. Yes, I know they're weeds, but that's why they're there. And so find a comfortable spot. You can sit outside, you can sit inside if you're inside, you know, sit near a window in the sun, sit near a plant. And step one is to really ground with light and water. So you can close your eyes or just soften your gaze a minute and take in 5 deep breaths. Now, as you continue to breathe, I want you to inhale deeply and feel that air going into your lungs, and imagine your blood cells going around your lungs and taking all that oxygen. And I want you to imagine sunlight streaming into your energy field, and it enters your body and it lights up your heart, your brain, and your cells with golden energy. And as you exhale, I want you to picture the water in your body. It's this beautiful structured water. It's all in little hexagon shapes. And it flows through your body, cleansing and energizing every system. And that water and that light, they are really powering up the whole of the electromagnetic fields within your body. And now your aura extends out, your energy fields extend out, and that light from your body is going to fill every corner and crevice of your home. And the energy of the water in your body is going to affect the energy of the water in your home, in any heating systems, taps, boilers, and it's going to affect the energy of any water flowing under your home. Everything from drains to sewage pipes to underground streams are all going to be affected by this marvelous, beautiful, wondrous light and this lovely, humming, vibrationally stable water. Now, for a moment, I want you to let your mind wander around your home, your bedrooms, your kitchens, or any cozy corner. This is your home, sort of literally and etherically. And I want you to ask if there are any sounds or any vibrations that you can create with your voice for this space. And then you can practice humming. Each room has a pitch, and you can start by humming and then lower and raise the pitch. And when you find the right pitch, that room will hum. You might want to practice this tonight. Go into every room of your house and hum and see if you can find the pitch. And as you do so, notice any sensations as you do this exercise mentally. Does it feel warm or heavy or alive? How do the rooms feel? Even if you have to imagine a sound that's going to bridge your energy and your home's energy so that you and your home are vibrating at the same frequency. What does that pitch? Can you hear it in your head? Now you can place both hands on your heart. Know that the electromagnetic fields of your heart are creating this biofield around you, this lovely electromagnetic field. And I want you to, send your awareness out into this field, at arm's length out. What does this space feel like between? Put your hands out. What does this space feel like between your hands and your body? What does the space outside, how different does it feel? And I want you to set a clear intention. You can say, my home and I are aligned with earth energies for vibrant health. And then I want you to call in the spirit of your home into your aura. Bring the spirit of your home, invite it into your presence. If you can't feel that presence, don't worry, but you may feel the presence of something. There may be a slight shift in the air, a breeze, a noise, a sensation, anything. If you don't feel anything, don't worry, it can come with practice. And I want you to imagine a shimmering ripple of energy flowing between you, your heart, and your home spirit, so that you and it are one. You're in sync. How does it feel to be in sync with your home spirit? To know that you have this spirit that's there to support you at this epoch in your life while you live there. That it's there to help you overcome the challenges and lessons that you face at this epoch. Perhaps this is your first home. Perhaps this is your first married home. Perhaps you have young children. Perhaps your children are older. You're going through those terrible, or quite can be difficult teenage years. Perhaps your children have gone off to university. Perhaps you're an empty nester. Perhaps this is your retirement home. But the spirit of home is there to help you move through the lessons and challenges of that particular epoch of your life. And you could ask your home spirit, how can I support my health and consciousness today? And trust the first thought, image, or feeling that comes to you. That instantaneous response. Trust that and hold it in there. And I want you to hold this insight and write it down later and then act upon it. Whatever it may be. Maybe it's saying, clean a window. Maybe it's saying, put this bowl of water in sunlight. Maybe it's saying you need to ring up somebody that you haven't spoken to for a while. Maybe it's telling you actually you need to go out for a walk. but act upon that message, because it's getting you to do something for a reason. You may not know that reason yet, but it will become apparent. And now I want you to just take 3 final deep breaths to feel your connection to earth and your home. And when you're ready, you can come back into the here and now. And I invite you to try that daily for 5 to 10 minutes for 7 days. Maybe with a candle, maybe with water, maybe near some sunlight if you've got sunlight streaming in your window, maybe with some singing bowls or some tuning forks. But if you do that every few days, it doesn't even have to be that long. Just do some deep breaths, become aware of your aura, invite your home spirit into your presence, and just try and feel it and set your intention for the day. You will feel your health, your clarity soar, and you will, over time, recognize that you are working collaboratively with the spirit. You'll get intuition, you will get messages, things will start to come to you to help you, as I say, live these lessons and challenges that you're there to achieve at this time. And they will often involve water, light, sound, and being very much aware of your own thoughts, because that is our quantum biology being supported. And that quantum biology being supported is what enables us to tap into quantum consciousness, where we have access to the quantum fields of information, or the Akashic records, whatever you wish to call it. But we have to get in that heightened state to achieve that information. And this is why the light in your home, the water in your home, the sound in your home, and the power of your thoughts are really so, so important. A home is an oracle. Our home is a mirror. And we don't just have to use sacred ritual at a sacred site, because we're not there that often. These were huge community sites where we all came to as a community, probably with the intention of a whole load of, a collective people. Your home is a space where you can do very personal things for you, where you're not sharing that space with a lot of other people, with their wishes, their dreams, and their intentions. So, for quick action on, harmonizing some water, structuring some water, just place a glass of water in a sunny spot today and set an intention for your health, and then drink that water. So I want to thank you for joining me today. A little bit different today, but I do hope you do the exercises, and I will see you all again for the next next video. See you all soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already, and also check out the free resources that I've got below about walking with the spirit of place to craft a life that you love, decoding sacred secrets to look at the organic technology of ancient sacred sites, learning to douse, because that's really important if you want to work with earth energies in a really precise way, particularly if you're going to build a sacred structure. And just check them out and see if any of them appeal to you. And I will see you all again very, very soon.